Good morning. Here I am, surrounded in orchids. What a beautiful time to be surrounded in orchids, because spring isn't quite here. I had to go outside this morning to put the compost and stuff out on the garbage pickup out. And there's ice out there on the water that was sitting around, and we still have a smidgen of snow in some places. So there's no flowers outside yet here. The crocuses haven't started to come or anything like that. And here I am enjoying orchids that have been flowering since December. So they started spiking at the end of September, and I watched them slowly come. And I wanted to tell you it's about time we start thinking about when we're going to change our fertilizer, because we've been using the bloom buster. At least I have. I have found it works, and some people say no, it doesn't. But I have found it does help them hold their flowers longer, and I think it's good. But you know, when do I switch to the higher nitrogen to encourage more leaf growth and help prepare for next year, so it's always like this? Because I've been doing these videos a long time, and you can get your orchids to flower every Christmas, at least in the northern hemisphere. Christmas until Easter, for sure. And I think Easter's a month away. I will still have some flowers there. Some have just opened. The stragglers are just opening. And the early ones, I'm going to show you what I'm talking about this. Okay, I have two. I call these the twins. They were taken out of a bigger pot. And the other one's in the other room. And it still has some flowers, but why I'm talking about this is you start to see some flowers looking like they're quitting. And they are. They are. This one's been in bloom a long time, and it was repotted into the glass on September the 2nd. I put it in the glass vase. And I've been happy with these. And so these ones are new because I did one for a year, and I'll talk about that in a minute. So anyway, the flowers are starting, and if you see this, it's best to take them off, because it's like when you have fruit sitting around your counter and it's putting off a gas that actually encourages other things to ripen and fall. So the sooner you take the little ones off that are fading, the better for your flowers to last longer, because some of the new ones are still coming. There's a new one. And there's some here. Like, how long do you keep letting those new ones open? And that's a judgment you make as the growing season comes closer. Now, as an experiment, I let quite a few of my orchids flower on an old spike. I always cut my old spikes off before when they finish blooming. And I let some keep their old spike, and yes, they flowered. Some of them are on old spikes. In fact, here's one. This traffic cone. It's on an old spike. It has not flowered on a new spike this year. Now, some have done both, but some haven't. And this has been in flower for a long time, and it's not showing any signs that it's quitting. But as you see right here, this is off last year's spike. So it's still too soon to know it still could spike again. But I've never left them on before, and it was beautiful, and I've had some flowering. This white one up here, it's been flowering, a long time on the old spike and a new spike. So this one, which is very healthy and has lots of leaves, it has both. But I've decided from looking at my plants that I am not any longer leaving the old spike. I'd rather have my new spike come and be fresh, that my orchids gain lots of energy and is happy and healthy and ready for a nice, big, healthy new spike. Now, this is a very debatable subject in the Orchid Society. But you know, when you buy your orchids from the greenhouse or from the stores, they have not been leaving the old spikes on. They've been taking them off. You can see where they've come off and they've reflowered, and maybe they keep them for about 5 years before they actually feel they're ready to go and sell. So that's my decision. So this year, when they're done, my old spikes are coming off. Also, I have been fertilizing with, for the winter, my bloom buster, and I've been using Schultz, and this one's almost empty. This one is NPK 1827 18 2MGO. The middle number is your bloom buster, and this one is 1931-17. Now, I used to always use the 1931-17, and then online I managed to get the other one with the +2 magnesium. And I've used this, but it's almost gone now. I'm going to use this next year. As you know, my watering schedule, that if you want it, I gladly send it out free to anybody that asks for it. I have other things happening in my water schedule. There's only 3 days of my watering schedule is done over a 6-week period, I believe. And 2 of those weeks are fertilizer, or is it 3? Let me look. I always keep it handy. I always keep it handy behind my calendar, and I always tick off what week I'm in. So week 2 and 3 are fertilizer. The other rest of the time, I'm using black tea bags. I'm using seaweed extract. I'm always adding Kelly Magic to each watering, except the water flush. 1 day of my 6-day schedule is a water flush. I've been using this for years, changing only my fertilizer because for the growing season, a couple years ago, and I'm very, very, very happy. I have an MSM fertilizer, and it doesn't matter where you get your MSM fertilizer from. I ordered mine from Cloud Orchids, and I got a bag with 4 in. I gave one to my daughter who grows orchids, Rosemary, and I sold one to Donna, a subscriber who lives out in Blind Bay, and I still have one left, and I've used one. So it's 15-5, 15-5-2, and I'm very, very happy with it. Now, it does condense, and there's instructions for keeping of it, or you get a bit of moisture in it very easily. I think you should keep it in the fridge or something, but I never did for this one, and it's quite used. But I always have a little cup that I have hot water in, and when I'm on my watering day for the fertilizer day, I always put it into some hot, not boiling or anything, to make sure it's completely dissolved before it goes in my sink or my watering can. That's good to know, but okay, pretty soon I'll be changing for the growing season with the higher nitrogen. Very, very, very important from everything I've read and heard. You do want lots of nitrogen to get to your plant. Now, in the summer, when the sun's coming and there's lots of light, they're going to grow, and they want as much nitrogen as they can get. And that's why I go for the higher nitrogen. And when? Well, years and years ago, I was watching a YouTube station out of the coast. Now, I haven't watched him in ages. He has many kinds of plants. I can't remember the name of it offhand. He had a big Brad's greenhouse, that's what it was. Yes, he always said Easter and Halloween because it's easier to remember. But in that saying, okay, you're going to Easter here where we have summer coming. Easter is a good time to start thinking about switching for the growing season to the nitrogen. And in the fall, Halloween. Now, it doesn't have to be right on Halloween. You can look at your orchids and decide, do I want them to keep flowering? Or do I want them to, you can still leave the flower on and they'll still stay flowering, but you're switching to get some more growth out of your plant for your leaves, which you need, and healthy roots. So I am thinking of making a change, and yes, I probably will do it very close to Easter. So that I want to share with you so you can start thinking about what kind of fertilizer, if you're making a change this year, if you want to try an MSM fertilizer, or in the past I've always made sure I've just had the 3 numbers with the first number, the nitrogen, higher. And over the years I've changed what I've used because I used to just use a normal plant fertilizer and it worked fine. It worked fine. But over time I did notice it is nice to have the MSM one. And they are doing good. Now, some of them, this beauty, and I have to bring it over, this is the first orchid that I put in glass. And I put it in glass, let me see if there's a date here, November 2022. So it has been in glass for a good year. The first one I ever did, and that's why now you see a few coming that are only maybe a couple months in glass. Because, and I'm going to bring this over and show you, this plant is healthy. It has a lot of roots. And its spike just came because it's been a little slower because it's been in the north window. Let's see if we can. It's wiggling. Anyway, we'll come back. Yeah, it's very, very healthy, very, lots of roots. The root situation all the way around. Now this one has 3 holes up this top, and there's 1 hole down here. So this one, the other ones I left it so I had to tip them. This one I don't have to tip. It's got a hole down there. It does drain every time. But the leaves, everything about it has come very healthy. And I think in our dry, our summers have been getting hotter and drier, and we've had quite a few forest fires the last few summers, although this isn't the only time. Years ago they do. This is the interior of British Columbia, and it's not desert like Kamloops, where Rosemary lives, is about an hour's drive, but the mountains do not have as many trees. It's way more desert-like, but they still get their winter. And so yes, we have very dry little humidity. We are on a lake, but it's not like being surrounded with ocean everywhere or something like that. It does help with our humidity, and sometimes the humidity can be pretty good. But in the house in the winter, of course, your furnace is running, just taking all the humidity out of your air. And that's why you'll see, if I have a window, I've got humidifier bowls, misters, and I'm going to show you after which one I think. If you don't have a mister, a humidifier for your orchids, and you need one and you're trying to wonder which one to get. Now, I have bowls, and I like my bowls. They throw a nice fog mist out, and they're good. But they are a little more difficult to clean because they're glass, and you have to empty them, take them to the sink, clean them all out good, and put them back. So, but the other misters, and there's one I've got right here. You yeah. Anyway, I'll show you a close-up. I can pick it off its thing. I just filled it. So it holds a lot of water. This lasts a long time, and it's very easy to clean, and it sits on the bottom. Yes, you have to clean the little bottom thing out, but it's a quick rinse and a little dish soap, and you're back in business. So this sits on a mister, and I'll show you that up close after. Here we go. Hi, honey.
Hi.
Is it coffee time?
Yeah.
I know, we usually have coffee about 10, but I didn't have mine either. Do you want me to get your vitamin? Okay. Anyway, what was I saying? So this one's been a year, and it's very happy in the glass, and it's going to be flowering for quite a few months. So some of my flowers will be flowering probably in May still. And that's pretty good, because we started flowering in maybe November, and here we are coming into May. Now, stragglers all different times, but mostly we've been sitting amongst orchids all winter. It's beautiful. And so that one, and now I have to show you my big lid. I'll get it out of here. Okay, now this orchid, I was worried, and Jack said, oh, don't worry, but I was worried because I've never seen this flower like this before. What happened was, all the buds were about the same size. Now this one hasn't opened yet, and there's two fully open. It's just beautiful. It's a no ID big lip I happened to get at the grocery store, and I was lucky. And there's one opening here. Yeah, there's a bud. So this one will be flowering for some time because it's a straggler. And as soon as this one is finished flowering, I'll be changing this pot. and I have a glass pot. I have a plan for a glass pot for this one. I have found that this big lip likes more humidity than my other orchids. I've noticed it for quite some time, and this pot is very drying, and I'm going to show you what. It's not going to be an easy repot because the roots have all grown out and stuck in this saucer all the way around. And sometimes Jack has knocked the saucer off for me, and sometimes it breaks and sometimes it doesn't. So I will probably end up, you'll be seeing this video when it's through flowering, because it's going in a glass pot for more humidity. And I still have just bark basically in my orchids that I do soak in Kelly Magic and seaweed extract for 3 days before I put it in. But this has to stop. It's getting bad. And yeah, there'll be some injury, and I'm sure it will be a shock to it. But I think it'll be much better off in the end if I do that. So that one has just opened. So now I'm going to, there. So we've got that straight about the change of fertilizer for the time of the year, and you can start thinking about it. And now I usually water Wednesdays, but last week I watered Tuesday because Wednesday I had a dentist appointment, and so they're going like a week and 1 day. They won't get watered till tomorrow to go to their normal Wednesday. So you'll see when I'm showing you, I'll walk you around and show you them. And we'll look at the misters, and if you don't have one and you need one, maybe it'll help you decide which one to get. So I'm going to get the camera and I'm going to show you close-ups. Okay. Oops. I was loosening the wrong knob here.
Sure, you go with that.
There we go.
You go that way a minute.
Can I go this way a minute, Jackson? Oh, there he goes. He just ran out. So here's this one in a glass vase, but these ones are all new. Now here I put September 27th is when it started to show that a spike. From September 27th, the flowers are still good, healthy, and it was put in the glass plastic bottle on August 5th. So it seems happy, and the roots are adjusting. Some people worry about algae growth. The odd piece of bark might look white, but I don't think there's been any concern. I haven't had to repot them. And here's my pyloric orchid, the one that I had to cut the leaf off. At least I felt I should. So I'll be very happy to get this one on some good nitrogen for some really good leaf growth. And even from the beginning, I tried to show you in the last video, I really didn't like the look of the start of that spike, but the plant is doing really good. You can see roots probably all the way around. There. So, and this is Moonglow, and she just went into this pot a few weeks ago. I haven't even dated her, and I should have. So this is very dry. The bark is dry. I don't go worrying. If you look in there, some look slightly green, but It's still adjusting to being in here, but it didn't set it back one bit when I changed. Maybe I can get a better picture of this now. It's a beauty. See how these ones, the buds all are at different stages of growth. But my big lip, they were all basically the same and none were opening. Really, I'd never seen that before. So they've been here, and there's a bowl mister. And garage sales, of course, with me, it's thrift stores or garage sales. And I'm happy. It throws a good mist, and I like it. It's decorative, and this is good for us, this humidity, too. So, oh, and I started doing a painting. Yesterday, I thought, I'm going to sit down and paint. Now, my daughter had a farm, and she had some big horses, and sort of this is what I was painting. There, thank you, honey. And then over here, this is the mister I was showing you. It's really good. It does a good job. We got this for $2 at the thrift store in town. Not the church's thrift store, the Hudson thrift store it's called. And it's a Bionaire. It holds a lot. You can just turn it way up and get tons of mist, or way low. And it holds a lot of water, and you can, just put it where you want it. And for ease and everything, this one is the easiest to look after. And some are prettier. I have another bowl here from a garage sale. And this one here, it started to lose some flowers, but it has lots more coming. And they're just doing really well. And there's a close-up of the big lip. So some of these, this one's been in bloom for a long, long time. And this one is on a new spike. Not last year's spike. Okay. And same with these. This one's been flowering for months. It was one of the first ones open.
What about the ones that aren't flowering? Can you show those?
Yeah. And this one, still very.
Like in that window over there?
Yeah. You want me to go over there? Lots of
Have you
these.
showed that yellow one over there?
Look at these roots. Look at this root. They just hang. I love the traffic cones. Traffic cones and glass pots seem to be the best. And because it's cone-shaped, a lot of moisture does not hang around in the area where quite often in your pot, because it's one thickness all the way around. These go narrow, and they have air holes, and it dries quicker. You don't have the water sitting, and it's just a screen in the bottom, and all the water drains out. Nothing is holding water. So, yeah, that one goes back over there. I moved it from video. Yeah. Okay, and then in this window, I've moved a couple around. We have one flowering up here. And in here, no flowers yet. So, but here I have just a fountain with water moving, and this is just a bowl I made out of a vase upside down and a bowl, and it does a good job. And then over here we have some that I'm babying. I have a new spike coming on this one, and they are dry. And Sherry Anna, she's down to one leaf. She's getting babied in the north window, so these are some that are getting babied. And then up here we have Meltassia, and in here another one getting babied. Jack's guiding my hand. You're going to make me drop the camera. He's being cheeky, and I'm going to catch him in a minute. Okay, so yes, this is our kitchen, and most of these are in here all the time, so we're enjoying them. And then in the other room, this one is what I hope to put my big lip in, because I'm going to change my cataseum if and when it's ready to be changed. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah. But anyway, that's its new shoot from last year, and it should get some growth before I do anything with it. So, and this is one of the first ones that's open, and it's lost some flowers. It's one of the twins. He's directing me. What a guy. Let go of my hand.
Later.
Yeah, see ya. I'll catch you. Bye. There he goes. Good grief. Okay. The excitement's over. Cactuses, yeah, we'll be getting some blooms there too. And Cymbidium, every watering day I clean it up a little bit, because last year I had to take an axe to a huge plant and divide it into 3, and this was my 3rd. So some of this is new growth. And that's it, other than a couple that are being babied in the other room, which we won't go down there. But I will show you outside, and then we'll say goodbye. Hey, Maggie. Maggie's up on her perch. So she can keep an eye on what's happening in the neighborhood. Gee, now she's older than me. Maggie's 11. And in dog years, that's 77. So she's got a year on me. Well, I'll be 76 this year. Yes, I know. Yeah, but we love you. Yes, we do. Okay, outside. No snow on the roads. We just got snow on the roofs and cold. And in the mountains, thank goodness, yes. So that's it for today. We'll see you next time. And I know I've been kind of far with my videos, but there'll be lots happening soon. I promise. Bye for now.